Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's happening?
In the building.
We'll wait for y'all to get up in here.
In the building.
You know what I mean? Getting back to how we do. You know what I'm saying? You know, we
The logo in the back.
yeah, got the logo popping, looking
you see
all
the logo.
official, man.
Looking real nice.
You know, y'all stay tuned when we start doing special announcements and news broadcasts. This is how it's gonna look. It's like this the black CNN station right here, man. You know what I
Truth
mean?
be told, radio.
Keeping it a buck.
Cause you know we don't give a fuck.
What's going on,
What's
Facebook?
going on, y'all?
And those that'll be checking us out on YouTube.
You better say it.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, youtube.com at The Conscious Village.
At the Conscious Village.
Check out some of our more insightful and entertaining podcasts as we bring them to y'all every Saturday at 8 p.m.
8 o'clock on the dot.
You heard me? What's going on, Tank?
I'm good, homeboy. I'm good. The homie Big Rye. I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. My daughter's birthday today. Shout out to my daughter.
Word
It's
up.
her 7th birthday today.
Lucky number 7.
And my son, shout out to you, Tyre. He just turned 16 on the 7th. So Tyre and Mylene, shout out to y'all. Daddy love y'all.
Word up. Word
So,
up.
you know, Coach Scott, what's up? So
What's happening, Coach Scott?
So, you know, we just I'm celebrating that. Happy that they happy.
No
you know,
doubt.
you know, when the birthdays come around, Daddy do a lot of running around and gotta get this, gotta grab that, gotta get this, gotta grab that.
Gotta
But it
make
comes
it
with the territory.
Gotta make it happen.
You gotta definitely make it happen.
I mean, you know, sometimes that job don't get the recognition that it should get.
It's sometimes being a father is a thankless job.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh
What I'm saying?
yeah.
However, that's another topic for another day. I know y'all probably looking at that title like talking about grudge match.
The grudge match.
Grudge match, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
we kind of got a little interest in where we gonna spend this for y'all today, man.
you know,
I guess first off, let's just say let's break it down. What does grudge mean?
well, we could pull up the Webster's dictionary.
We
definition.
definitely could because I have the hot spot on.
We got the hot spot on.
And therefore, I should be able to hit definitions.
Let's
on
get the definition.
We're going to go ahead and look it up one time.
You know what I mean? Everybody has their own connotation as to what a grudge is, and a lot of people have had them. A lot of people hold them. You know, a lot of people can't let go of them.
They can't.
You know what I mean? But we want to put it in its proper perspective so that when we touch on this topic, we are being logical and concise.
A persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. She held a grudge against her former boss. She didn't like his ass. Okay, so that's what we know what a grudge is.
Persistent feeling of resentment.
And I don't think I got to look up match for y'all. I think y'all,
Yeah.
you know, I ain't had to look up grudge for real.
Nah.
But we just doing it for the sake of what we trying to tell y'all about.
But you know, I like the key word of it, where it says persistent.
Persistent feeling means continuous,
You know,
not going nowhere.
I think especially us as a people, we probably have more. Some would say that we're more justified to have more grudges than a lot of people. Our hit list, or our grudge list might be longer than most. You know what I mean? We would be labeled as the disenfranchised or the the proletariat, or I would call you. Now, I use those terms, and what I mean is those that have been outcast or set aside,
Disparaged.
you know what I mean, separated from the rest of the gang. It would be real easy to feel you have a deep feeling of resentment for various reasons, man. What we want to get into is discussing the impact of holding those grudges, and are they beneficial, and maybe some grudges that we might have that we might find too hard to let go of. You know, so this is more of a look inside yourself kind of show today, man.
Right.
We really want people to reflect and keep it a buck, you know?
Basically. Because you know what's crazy about grudges? You ever heard of when people, my mom told me a long time ago, she said, boy, when you mad at somebody else, you the only one mad because they don't even know about it.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? When somebody in the picture, you the one walk around upset and they don't even know about it. Hell, if they even care. You know what I'm saying?
They living their life.
They living their life. So, you know, you walk around mad, and now, don't get me wrong now. Sometimes that shit justified. So sometimes it's justified.
Yeah.
But I think what we're here today to tell y'all is it's you know, you can have a grudge. You're gonna have grudges. Let's just keep it real. But it don't let it consume. You got to know when to let go. You understand what I'm saying? Because see, when it starts to get consuming you, now it's taking control, and you ain't able to do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And if you trying to get something done in spite of something else, then it's like the cause ain't even worth it. You know what I mean? Especially when the other party don't care. You got to like look at yourself and say, you know what? Yeah, you slighted me. You were wrong, but I need to forgive you. If not so much for the situation, but for myself.
Right.
So I can get to where I need to get to. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you know-
It's a slippery slope now.
I mean, because
It's a
some
slippery slope.
folk would say, "Hey, man, some things you just can't wipe off the slate."
But you can't.
You know,
But I mean, you I think it's okay to be aware of it. You got to be aware of it in your mind, but you don't let it consume you.
that's like I guess Michelle Obama just put out a memoir about her time in the White House, and she brought up in the memoir her feelings about when now President Donald Trump was going in on Barack about the whole birther scandal and all of that. And in her book, she said, well, that's one thing that she cannot forgive the president for, was endangering her family and putting them in a very vulnerable situation by, you know, such a scandalous accusation. So, you know, I guess in her book, she like, oh no, we
I
can't.
ain't letting that shit
I ain't
go.
letting that ride.
I ain't letting it go.
I ain't letting that ride.
But I mean, but I'm pretty sure even someone of her stature, I'm pretty sure that, like I said, it's okay to be upset with somebody for a second. That's okay. My whole thing is, because it's still people I'm still mad at, like, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you know what I mean?
Catch you in traffic,
you know what I'm
nigga.
saying? You going down. So I mean, you can feel how you feel. It comes down, and I can speak for times that I did let it get to me. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I wasn't me. You not who you are. You know what I mean? You start you're thinking different, you're moving different because you letting somebody pull your strings.
Right.
And hell, like I said, a lot of times they don't even know they pulling your damn strings. And then if they know they doing it, then it's like you feeding to the fire. Like, yeah, just keep getting me. I know you got me.
Got you
You
gassed
know you
up.
got me.
Put
You know
the
what I'm saying?
cables
Come on,
on.
man.
So-
You keep driving to the wall.
So, I think that has a very serious impact, you know, for us, because, you know, we have a high access to firearms. We have you know, unlimited propensity to violence when needed or when felt justified.
Right.
Yeah. So somehow, you know, do we feel some of those grudges are the source of a lot of these conflicts, or is that all just a bunch of impulsive spur of the moment situations, or, you know, do we think that has a heavy impact on our safety out here,
that's a
or
good
other
question.
safety out here?
I mean,
You know what I
that's
mean?
a good question. I mean, you can look at that, but a lot of times, man, when it comes from that the shootings and the killings, and I'm gonna speak amongst us, that's from us needing to forgive ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We hold, sometimes I think we hold grudges amongst ourselves, inner grudges as well as grudges on the outlook of what we see as society because of what we feel we are to society, or what we think we are to society, or what we think society has done to us. So you hold a grudge, and you lash out on the closest thing to you. You're the closest thing to me, so I'm not gonna lash out over here.
Right.
I'm gonna lash out right here because you're the closest thing to me. Little do I know that maybe it's a grudge inside of me as well as a grudge inside, and we sharing the same grudge that we both need. You know what I'm saying? A burden that we need to let off. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, when you're upset and when you're hurt and when you're feeling, a lot of times that shit gets diluted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's basically kind of like, you know, what you bring to my mind is if we hold grudges against ourselves, like let's say 5 years ago you got knocked out in the bar, right? You got slumped, right? And after they hit you with the water and woke you up and you realize you pissed on yourself and all that.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And, I mean, I've seen it happen. That happened when cats get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? You know, they say, you know, everything go flat. But,
Little leak.
you know, so when you woke up, you were upset with yourself.
Were you?
I think you might have been mad that you took that L and you said, I will never ever ever let another get that off. So now you walk around with the chip on your shoulder. You're waiting for somebody to knock it off your
Chip
shoulder.
on your shoulder.
You know what I mean? Like, I wish the
and another
motherfucker
pair of-
would again.
You need another pair of drawers too. Because apparently that chin.
Yeah, I mean, so no, but on a serious note, man, you know what I'm saying? I think that we are our own worst critics, and we're harder on ourselves than anybody else. So whenever we have a flaw or what we see as a flaw or we see as an L or take a loss, you know what I'm saying? We say, okay, never again. So now we're quicker. That defense mechanism kicks in a lot faster now. Anytime you're put in an environment that reminds you of a prior experience in which you felt resentment for.
Let me ask y'all a question and you a question. When it comes to doing things, y'all, and Big Rod, is it easier to love or to hate? Is it easier to trust or not trust? Is it easier to forgive or hold a grudge? Which is easier? Because usually one comes from because something else happened. I hate your ass because when I loved you, you fucked me around. I don't trust shit because every time I do trust, I get fucked over. I hold a grudge because being forgiveness means I'm vulnerable, means I gotta let go of something. That if I let go, I might. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just my. When you think about it, to me, it's easier to do things. I mean, which one you feel is easier? And y'all think y'all gonna respond to? What's usually easier to do?
I'm gonna put it
or
like,
mentally you feel is easier to do.
I'm gonna put it like this. I think it has a lot to do with your foundation and your own experiences. But as a whole, I think it's a lot easier to hate. I think it's a lot easier to resent than it is to forgive, be gracious. You know what I'm saying?
I think you feel protected. It's a false sense of protection when you put that wall up because that's how you feel. If I'm holding a grudge, if I'm hateful, or if I don't trust something, why am I like that? It's because something. If I say, bro, let me hold $50 till tomorrow,
right?
And tomorrow becomes never, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Then you like, well, I'm not about to loan nobody else no money because this supposed to be my due.
But see, now that goes to the saying, somebody put it to me like this: you never loan something that you can't go without.
Yeah, and that's true. But it's
I'm still with you.
That's financial. We're talking about.
But what I'm saying is, I'm using that, setting it up as a lot of times when we do things for people, some people keep score. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that arena or that box that they have to do for others is a lot smaller than the box they have to do for themselves. So, okay, man, I'm gonna help you out, but I need this back because I really ain't have it to give. Well, if you didn't have it to give, you shouldn't have gave.
I like what you say, T. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
finish it, bro. Finish it.
So I'm just saying, those situations, I think it becomes more about how people's principles are set up.
Right.
Like, some people, that $50 ain't nothing.
Right.
Other people, they like, man, I'd have been at your mama house with the dough kicked in over less. So
because they feel like, hold on, I get. And you make a good point because T just the homie T King, y'all check him out, funny man, one of the funniest dudes in Akron.
Word up, T King, what's that?
He said forgiveness is just in my essence. I can't hold a grudge. And see, that's good to you, but see, nigga, you gonna crack a joke about him and then
and be done with it.
Right, make a skit about that.
Mess their whole life.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but see, and that's good that you like that, bro. But a lot of people can't summon that up in them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of people, and then you gotta look like this. You have to have that. Everybody's mental fortitude is different. That's what makes us all unique as human beings. And you made a good point when you say some can say, well, that $50, man, you just bought yourself. Like, I'll never do nothing for you again. Some people, that's $50, they ready to jack your ass. You know what I'm saying? Here, you stupid. Stupid. We ain't fucking with you. We ain't fucking with you now. We stay positive. Inside joke, y'all. Our fault. Inside joke. Anyway, but that's good to have that type of to be able to do that, be able to do that because
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, it's hard to trust because see the people that it ain't the people that you don't trust that hurt you.
It's the ones,
It's the ones you
yeah.
do trust that hurt you. And see, to me, this what makes this shit so difficult. Because see, if I'm walking down the street and I see some foolishness going on, I'm walking down the street, I see a nigga playing 3-car Molly. That's not the nigga I'm about to walk in, but hey, bro, can you hold this $100 for me? I'll be right back, baby. That ain't,
Right.
that ain't,
Right.
you know, that ain't the dude I'm hollering at, man.
It's the
You know
it's the ones that you saw, the ones that saw you go work 10, 12-hour shifts
Exactly.
to go get that 50.
and
then-
they know you got it.
Right.
And they know and see, probably they get to know and they can ask you for it and then they take their time in their mind, oh, I'll get it back to them. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
You're right. He's stupid. But the
I'm
thing
done with
is, we're not fooling with him. We're not fooling with him.
shout out
You
to
know,
homie Nigel.
Shout out to the
man,
homie
but
Nigel.
You clown today. We ain't doing that.
You're right, bro. It is a gift and a curse. But see, this is the thing. You know, you reap the benefits of doing the right thing. See, you ain't a lot of times, and you know, we talk about this. People want credit for doing what they supposed to do. We supposed to forgive, y'all.
Right.
We supposed to have mercy. We supposed to have this shit. Because see, the fact of the matter is, you know, whatever your stance is on your belief, if the Lord, God, whatever you want to call him, Allah, whatever you want to call him, if he didn't have mercy and forgiveness, we wouldn't even be sitting here talking to y'all's ass right now. If we talking about, you see what I'm saying? So just think about that. Sometimes and I don't want to take away from nothing we go through. But you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to think about it's people that's given up a lot more than you have.
Right.
And have been able to say, if a woman's walking to the person that killed her kid and say, I forgive you for killing my son. I'm hurt, but I forgive you. If she can forgive, I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying?
But see, you know, in a lot of
and then go back to
those,
the stance you said too, her stance.
in a lot of those situations, though, you know, again, you know, forgiveness. I think a lot of people have the spiritual teaching ingrained in them that forgiveness is for themselves. You know, I'm going to forgive you so that I cannot walk around with that heavy weight. You know, I think it's I'm not going to say that it's not common, but I think that's usually the motivation for most people is I can't walk around with this hardness in my heart, so I have to let it go. So in a sense, I'm towing the line here. I'm kind of saying you still did it for yourself.
But I mean,
I'm just saying.
But think about it though. But I mean, but even if that is the case,
Right.
Would you rather do that little bit
Well,
for
yeah.
yourself so you can get by? Because the thing is this, you gotta let that shit go, man. You can't let nothing just fester. See, my thing is this. The part when you do it for yourself, the part is for yourself should be that chip in the archive, like niggas ain't shit on that side of the town. You know what I'm saying? Or don't trust that. But
That's talking about you talking about forgetting now.
No.
I mean, that's not forgetting.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said it should be in the archives. So you forgave that, but you
Right.
remember this situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
no, okay, excuse me, but I'm just saying you gotta have so whenever it happens again, it just pop to the front of your head like, oh, wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think. Not once again, easier said than done.
No doubt.
But because some situations are hard to let go, and you can still sometimes be holding a grudge and still be walking around functioning and thinking you cool. You know what I mean? But you still holding that in. That's just something you're not dealing with. Which also, you know what I mean? So
I think a lot of that, you know, when you talk about holding deep-seated grudges, typically those I think are probably closer and connected to family disagreements or family conflicts, because there's most people that we know that long in our life, long enough to be mad at them for long periods of time,
Right.
is typically a relative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember, first grade or second grade, and, those school beefs, nothing like that. So usually most people's problems are with people that they grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Or, so, and I think a lot of that, again, there comes down to an ability to communicate. A lot of times a person that gets harmed by someone, that person may not have known that they harmed you that person may not know that they offended you, or that person may have just not thought that they had offended you that much.
That's deeply right.
So a lot of times we don't know, especially us as a people. You know, we suffer from a PTSD to where it's easy for us to talk about the things that make us feel good. It's easy for us to talk about the things that make us happy. It's harder for us to express when we're hurt, vulnerable, offended, or slighted.
So we try to act like we don't feel those.
Because we're, like you said,
We in control of that shit.
like you said earlier, we put up a defense mechanism because we believe that hostility is strength.
Exactly.
We believe that insensitivity is power.
Exactly.
We don't understand at times that patience, kindness are actually true signs of strength.
You better say it.
You know what I mean? I've just noticed even, in some of my lines of work that I've done over the years, that when I've had to deal with people in a potentially confrontational situation, the energy that, I bring or try to bring diffuses the situation just because it doesn't go with the energy they're bringing.
I mean, but you got that whoop ass weight too, though. So
I mean,
that kind of, cause see, like you got two dudes in there talking to do. Hey man, y'all doing too damn much. They're gonna be like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even think
sometimes no, that helps. It helps. It definitely helps.
I don't
but
think,
you also cool. Cause I'm telling you, bro, you can see. I done seen it. You see it.
I don't think it's so much that. I mean, and that's another topic. I think it's more. I think it's more about the fact that I treat people. I try to approach them with respect, and I try to see them as equals. And I think when you put yourself in another person's shoes, you can approach them with kindness. You can approach them with love.
He ain't on shit. He ain't on nothing.
And be able to understand their situation. So they go, okay, they hear what you're saying. A lot of times people just want to be heard. So, so when you have those family conflicts where people get into arguments, it's, brothers and sisters talking crazy at each other because familiarity breeds contempt. I can talk to you ridiculous because
who you are.
Right. I used to change the diapers, nigga. Yeah, and things like that. So I think it puts a bigger wedge and it makes those grudges last even longer and go even deeper. So, I think,
like you said, the people that love you, your family member, I agree with you. But who know you the best?
Right.
Like you say, who knows?
And who know what buttons to push?
It's always the people you know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But like but you bring up a good point when you say about the communication too, and see that's huge because if you're not communicating, then those fronts that you put up of aggression and the walls, those are never going to come down.
Right.
Because see, if you can't even articulate how you feeling back and forth with each other, what are you going to result to? And I agree with that. But see, this is where now the grudge it moves forward now. I mean, it starts to go. Mm-hmm. It starts to get deeper, and it starts to get because now it's so misunderstood. Because now the only way that we saying we get each other, we get understanding is by putting violence or disconnect with the family or keeping the kids from each other or doing things that ain't got nothing to do with anything because we mad about something simple that we need to be able to forgive. See what I'm saying? And see, but I mean, you think about it when it comes out to what I think also too, because sometimes too you just gotta let people go too. But I think what it is, and I had to learn this for myself because I consider myself a giving person. You know what I mean? Especially if I fool with you. If I'm down, it ain't no questions around that shit. But what I had to learn, and what I would say that y'all should try to strive for, because I'm still striving for it too, is you don't change who you are. You change who you give yourself to. You see what I'm saying? Because see, like I said, the people that cause the grudge and the people that help exacerbate the shit, they don't give a shit. So what you got to learn is you got to learn to say, well, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I know that I can go this far with this brother, and I know I can go this far. He's clowned again. I know I can go this far with this sister, or the person you're in a relationship with, just anything. You gotta learn. You gotta learn how to give because see, then you can't expect everybody to give how you give either. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta learn what ways not to help the grudge set in, and you gotta pay attention to who to deal with so you don't help them enable the grudge. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I think it definitely brings in a different dynamic when you're talking about relationships. You know what I mean? I think especially, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you're dealing with a lot more sensitive matters of the heart. It's like on top of, it's one thing when family, okay, you love your family, okay, it's supposed to be unconditional. When you're in a relationship, you're trying to build unconditional.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times.
But is it unconditional just because it's family, or is it unconditional because it's actually unconditional? Because when you say you built on the unconditional love, that's like, it kind of like when I was saying a few weeks ago when you say love somebody. When you come out the womb, the kid, what does the baby say when you tell when you got your kid, I love you, I love you, I love you. So the kid says what back to the parent, I love you, I love you, I love you. Now the parent could be a parent that's all out in the streets, don't really look out for the kid. But every time that parent walks up to that kid, be like, man, I love you. Especially until that kid really grasps the knowledge. And even when they're older and mad, they still say, I love you. You see what I'm saying? So love, those things are things that are earned. But we and I think even with a family member, be it a brother, sister, that shit still's earned. We just have somewhat of a, because I'm kin, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kin, I'm all in. You see what I'm saying? Which is understandable, because it's kin, I'm all in. But like I said, all those things are something that's a learn. Even when you bring somebody in, like you said with the marriage thing, because you got some motherfuckers, their wife, they have a better connection with their wife and their spouse, man, than they do with their family, because that person chose to be understanding of that person in ways, you know what I'm saying?
See, okay,
you know that?
And see, and that's where I'm saying, like, just like with any relationship, you have to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? I think where family sometimes gets given the benefit of the doubt, and they get taken for granted because, okay, well, you're always going to be my mom, or you're always going to be my brother, you're always going to be my aunt.
Right.
There's nothing I can do to change that. But people forget that you may change the context of the relationship. You see what I'm saying? That same child that gets told they love you from, let's say, an abusive parent.
Right.
Okay? Their interpretation of love now becomes screwed up because you told me you loved me, but you left me in the house with no food for 2 weeks.
And you kept oops upside of my head.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess this is what love is.
And that's what they view.
Right. So, and that becomes what they teach out. But now when you get into a relationship, you have two people that are wanting and have the interest and the desire to build that relationship. So that becomes the fuel. You see what I'm saying? I think out of a want to have things go peacefully, people will change their stance long enough to respect the other person's viewpoint. And that just goes with anything, though. Anytime you have a disagreement with somebody, when you go to approach them about it, you should be within your mind under the intention of creating harmony, no matter what the topic is about.
Right.
If you're coming to talk to that person about something that went down that you wasn't cool with, okay, I'm coming to talk to you about it, but I'm not coming to talk to you to make it worse. I'm not coming to you to escalate.
Right.
I'm not coming to exact revenge. I'm not coming to create a conflict. I'm coming to the table to figure out how we can both walk away from this thing cool.
Right. You
said
it perfectly. You said I'm coming to bring harmony. I'm not coming. And you make a great point. But see, the problem that comes in there is, and the one you're saying, that's when the grudge, and that's another grudge match. You see what I'm saying? And to the point to where my point and my feeling is the point in the feeling that's most valid.
Right.
So now when I come to the table with my concerns or how I feel, I have a grudge or a chip on my shoulder about how I feel. You see what I'm saying? Now, two people walking up to a situation with chips in their shoulders about how they feel, a lot of shit ain't gonna get accomplished, like you said, because now we're both
that's strong arm
exactly.
negotiating.
We're bringing in lightning and thundering into a place where it's supposed to be clear skies.
And most people don't respond to that pretty well.
And what's so funny about that, they most people don't. But even then, if a person does quote unquote respond to that, it's still details that's gonna be left out. Because how much can you hear when you yelling and screaming, and how much can you hear when you see, like they say, you're supposed to listen with a listening ear, not the I got to say what I got to say ear. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people listen to respond. You see, they don't listen to listen. So if you listening to respond instead of understanding what's being said, once again, now another grudge is being built, because it's like now I'm not being heard. See, grudge ain't just always just because you took $5 from me, now I'm mad at you. or it comes. You can get grudge in
Oh,
so
yeah.
many different ways because if I make you feel a certain type of way about a certain situation, then it takes away from what we can deal.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because if I always make you feel like, if every time we come in the shop, it's like, well, ride this, ride on. You like, damn, nigga, I mean, motherfucker, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then, you like, well, then you don't, and then, well, you don't know. But then, who are we helping?
Right.
If we come with our own personal agendas, who are we helping? You see what I'm saying?
Real talk.
So that's what tends to happen. You're not helping each other or helping the situation. And sometimes the best way to just say is, you know what? I'm sorry.
You know,
Sometimes
and that's, you know, I can attest to that firsthand, man. That's what we call relationship equity. You know what I mean? When you're trying to protect the equity or preserve the equity of a relationship, sometimes you will change your stance. That's just like, you know, my little situation I don't like to bring up, but I had a misunderstanding with a supervisor that really escalated to a ridiculous degree. I'm not going to go to how far, but it all stemmed from one person not being able to just go, hey, you know what? My bad. You see what I'm saying? And because of that, you know, the situation went where it went, just basically off the laws of nature. But that's
what? What alert?
Hey.
That's the what alert. Y'all hear that? What? That's a what alert. No. So
okay.
so
All
what
right,
happened was-
I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
Please.
I'll fix it
I mean, 'cause
myself.
it just-
I'll fix it myself.
I'm
I
just
got
saying.
it.
Appreciate you.
I responded to the situation the way I would respond to a personal situation.
So you scared your boss.
I responded to the situation the way I would have responded in a personal environment and took my professional obligations and put them in one compartment and put my personal expectations as a human being in another.
So you scared your boss.
No, we had a conversation.
You scared him.
Well, I can't speak.
When you say your person, it just sound like, because when you say one person didn't want to budge, was it you that wanted to budge, or was it the guy that had a position that didn't want to budge? Because see, so you know,
Okay.
I'm just
All
wondering
right.
because see, if
They didn't want to budge.
now did they feel the situation escalated from your use of using how you feel about it, like, you know what I'm saying, like with the. Like that,
Okay.
that didn't scare nothing?
There's such a thing called interpersonal communication. All right, so we're gonna go professional here. All my HR people, y'all with me here. There's such a thing called interpersonal communication.
Okay.
As a supervisor or as a and even as a subordinate, there are expectations between those individuals in order to achieve a common goal. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Look,
Courtney. He's scared his boss. He just don't want to say it.
Hey.
He's trying to go to, well, you know, when I go around into the interpersonal.
Yeah, I'm tap dancing.
No, fuck all
I'm
that.
tap
You
dancing.
scared the boss, and what happened was because the boss got scared, he's like, man, this big intimidating black man with this uncle, and I'm scared of you because you strong black man, or I feel like you trying to overpower. He pissed him
All
off.
right,
He
okay,
scared
so
him.
let's look.
So
We're still using this example here.
I'm saying, but how
it's only,
tie this into your grudge though?
now no, see, I didn't have it. I didn't.
I'm just fucking.
This is what I'm saying.
You scared your boss.
In that situation, what you had was.
He said you Gregory Hines tap dancing. yeah. He
All right,
Gregory
look.
Oh, yeah, he is.
In that situation, it was like this here. I felt like the professional relationship could not move on the same equity until this issue got addressed. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to talk to a person in a manner outside of respecting them as an adult and as an equal, well, whoa, we got to come to this. We
Type
got
it in again, Courtney.
we got to holler about this
Type it in again.
Before-
Courtney. You scared your boss.
before
Type
we
it
can
in
go
again.
that way.
Type it in one more time.
They chose to not acknowledge my point.
That's what they did.
They chose to not acknowledge my
That's what they
point.
did?
That's what they did.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? They chose to not acknowledge my point
Okay.
and took actions another direction.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that even in professional environments, if we can approach them on certain standpoints, we should be able to have the same objective in our personal relationships. Some of y'all go to work and y'all make sure, yeah, I did that. Make sure.
No, the fuck you did not. No, the fuck you did not. You're not going to say you did that. No, the fuck you did not. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, the fuck you didn't. We're not going to do that. He's out. He did a 20-second time off all that shit he was just full of, y'all.
Hey, no.
Listen, man. You was there. You definitely great behind that shit. You called it, Court. I'm thinking more like Sammy Davis. Hey, Barry, what you think we're doing, Barry? You know when I try to
put a little Sabian Glover on him, man. I put a little Sabian Glover on him.
He said you gave him an aggressive opinion. Right. That's what he should have just said in the first place. I gave him an aggressive opinion that led to them writing me the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? That's what just happened. Man. But anyway, y'all.
But look, wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to take something off of that. I'm going to let you have the floor for a minute.
Take off what?
I said I'm going to take something from that.
Oh, take something from that. Okay, we listening.
At the same time, a lot of times, even in our personal relationships, you know what I'm saying, friendships, whatever, we approach people sometimes familiar. And we may not realize that we're being disrespectful. We may talk to them in a very condescending manner. But yet, when people go to work, because of their work environment, because they know this place pays them, they'll, okay, Mr. So-and-so, all right, how's it going? And excuse me, sir, and yada, 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 yada. I feel like this. If you can have that constant awareness of respect with your coworkers, you should be able to have that constant level of respect with your spouse. You should be able to have that same constant level of respect with your friends. You know what I'm saying? The reasons that a lot of our friendships and relationships and situationships go awry are because we get too comfortable. We get too familiar. I still say thank you to my wife. You know what I'm saying? I still hold the door open for her. You know what I mean? It's not outside of our scope of ability to be constantly aware of respecting each other. I think that goes a lot further in relationships. Usually things go out the way because you forget to do that. So, that's what I gathered from that story. You know what I mean? I had an insight while I was giving some insight.
That's what it was? Okay, well that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just got fired for tripping on his boss.
See, I didn't even say all that. Why you got to say all that, man? I didn't even say all that. I didn't even say all that.
I'm just saying. If you said,
but I didn't even say all that.
He went another way. He's like, "We sick of your shit, sir. We're sick of your shit. You're not gonna keep scaring us."
No doubt. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect yourself to respect others.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think if we hold ourselves to the standard of how we conduct ourselves, if we expect of ourselves to treat people kindly and to be able to forgive when able to, we get that in return. You know what I mean?
I mean, when able to, forgiveness is something that comes. Like I said, that because sometimes some wounds take longer to heal. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is what we getting at is that we're not taking away from that, but you still got to find a way to let things go. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I mean? We've been dancing around a little bit area, but that's really the whole premise of what we're saying when it comes to the grudges and the things that you hold on to and trying to keep basically on pace of trying to keep yourself together so you can be able to give out those type of things you can give out. You know, if you're not comfortable with yourself, you always mad, or you holding a grudge with yourself, it's gonna be hard for you to see the things that you're supposed to do. It's gonna be harder for me to show you compassion. It's gonna be harder for me to be more understanding of maybe a female or even my own kids, because I don't have that compassion and understanding within myself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All that plays a part. You gotta know how to be, and it's easier said than done, but you gotta know how to be balanced, man. You got to be balanced. It really boils down to being balanced, and that shit ain't easy, especially when you've always been pushed off balance. You understand what I'm saying? When you steady trying to walk that line to keep yourself together, and it's constantly something always pushing you off or trying to make you feel undervalued, or make you feel like that it doesn't care. You know what I mean? All those things, excuse me, all those things play a part. You see what I'm saying? And then so now you walk around mad.
What's up, Mark?
And you don't know how to forgive. See, to me, that's something that has to be learned. Just like you got to learn how to love, you got to learn how to forgive. You see what I'm saying? Because these things, a lot of times, like I said, words are sometimes used and they're not. I don't think people understand the gravity of words.
Right.
We're so used to saying them, and we're so used to feeling like, oh, I can do that action. Oh, I can do that shit. Every action ain't that easy. You know what I mean? It's not, and it ain't simple, cut and dry. Especially when it comes from, what's up with it, Mark? Especially when it comes from a place of, like you said, familiarity of someone that I thought was supposed to be in my corner, or someone, or something, or some situation I thought was supposed to be on my side. You feel what I mean? And then when you lose, you kind of like
lose perspective.
Yeah, you do. And then in a sense, you lose hope. And like, man, I ain't got faith in that shit no more. You know what I mean? And then and that once you lose faith in certain things, you start to lose sight of what you could do to make the situation better. If I'm in a relationship and I feel like things going bad, and you know how they say the grass ain't always green on the other side. You know, sometimes you will take time to cultivate your own grass.
Right.
But if I'm always complaining because I just can't get rid of these little roots over here, these little weeds over here. But I've never really taken the time to research what do I need to do. Maybe Roundup don't work for that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I got to get something else.
Right.
You know, and we forget because we upset or we hurt, and we forget that you could cultivate your own situation and turn it into everything you want it to be. But you got to learn how to, like I said, be balanced and learn how to forgive and let things go and understand, like, you know, I'm not perfect. This ain't perfect. I got to understand this. Is this person really a good person for me? Is this a seasoned person, or is this a person that's supposed to be for a minute? You know what I mean? It's so many different ways to look at things. You know what I mean? And like I said, those actions you got to learn.
And that's real. I mean, even with being balanced, you know, not even just, you know, that takes also knowing that you're still one side of the thing. You know what I'm saying? You're one head of that coin. You know what I mean? A lot of times in those, you know, those situations, we forget, or we're so focused on, like you say, we're so focused on what's not going right for us,
Right.
that we forget, well, I wonder how they feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or,
Right.
you know, I can't be the only one having an issue.
And I'm not perfect. Like I try to, even though I might
Right.
not do something a certain way, just because you could be the person in a relationship that you are the responsible one.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one who you're not doing. You're not going outside a relationship, and you are there. Listen, man, it's always something you're not doing. Always understand that. It's always something you can do better. And you know what I mean? So sometimes people get too caught up in, I'm doing everything great. Well, your whole self-righteous, I'm doing everything else great attitude is going off on your partner to make them feel like that they don't do shit right.
Because that also may just be your perspective of what you call great.
Doing right. Exactly.
You know,
Because
hey,
that's what I'm saying.
I ain't fucking around. I'm paying the bills, and I'm you know,
And I'm home.
I'm home.
So that's good enough.
Well, okay, yeah, those things are what would be perfect if you were dating you. You know what I mean?
No, and I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
So of course, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be like, well, what the fuck they tripping on? I'm doing this. Yeah, okay, those are things that you would be cool with from them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, yeah, but you know, one thing you don't want to do, and I was just thinking about this when we were talking about holding grudges. You know how many people have been laying up in ICU with tubes up their nose and wires up their arms, with respirators waiting to take their last breath, still holding on to something that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and now they know they got less time in front of them than they do behind them? You know what I'm saying? You know, you have to make it your business to find a way to bring yourself to be at peace, man.
I agree.
Because
I like that. I agree with that.
you know, you're not the only one carrying that weight. You're not the only person that's carrying some scar from that battle. You know what I mean? And if we're trying to be our best self, or how y'all say these days, living your best life, you know, that should definitely be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? It should be more than just showing out and showing off. It should be, let me find the best ways to be the best me, mend those fences, because, you know, who knows, that might be a bridge you need to cross.
You better say it.
You know what I mean?
You heard this saying, what they say, watch the bridges you burn. If you do, keep a glass of water in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying? You never know what fire you got to try to put out.
For real.
You know what I mean? And that's real, but to what you said, I like what you just said about as far as using the metaphor about well, not the better actual. That's not a metaphor. That's for real shit. People being on their deathbeds and still holding shit in. I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude. 70, 80 years old, still mad about some shit. Nah, man.
Right.
You got to let that shit go. Because I'm telling you, the only person that is eating that is you. The only person that's getting hurt and is getting creamed is you. It's all up inside of you, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something about holding a grudge too. What about when you hold that grudge and the person that you fool with pass away? But then what? And then you always wanted to mend it up, but neither one of y'all came to each other because y'all was mad. See, life's so short, man. And at the blink of an eye, you gone. I could walk out here right now, Lord, please don't let it happen. But I could be like Johnny Bye Bye out on the spot. It's just what
Johnny
it is.
Bye-bye?
Johnny Bye Bye, pop out. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want that. But I mean, this is the reality of life.
Right.
You can't be. You might as well look. You might as well just go up to the person, talk to that person, get that out the way, and keep it moving and learn to heal. Than to sit there and hold it in. Courtney just put it up there a little bit ago. He said, "Words hurt, wounds heal." You know what I'm saying? So I mean. That's real shit. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is though, you gotta if you're mad, if you're holding a grudge, the healing process can't start because it got a scab over it. You see what I'm saying? It got a scab that it don't need to be, or it's infected. You got to get that up out of here and put some Neosporin on that motherfucker and get it together and clean it up real good. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be able to heal from past situations. You know what I'm saying? It's hard.
And again though, man, I think a lot of times it has a lot to do with your original foundation. Don't get me wrong. Nobody invincible. All right, nobody's impervious to the misgivings of people. But at the same time, I think it has there's something to be said about people who don't have much, and they say, well, at least I have my kind-heartedness, I have my integrity, I have my generous spirit, I have whatever those intangibles that we hold on to when we're not where we want to be in life. I think sometimes we hold on to them like gold. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of those times that we have issues with people because we haven't found the belief in ourselves that I can get past that, or I will get past that.
But how do you get? But see, this is the thing. How do you get past something when you constantly dealing with it and constantly seeing it, and you think this is what it is for me?
Well,
you see what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm saying.
Again, that's what I'm saying. It has a lot to do with how you see things.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
Some people have a spiritual foundation that teaches them that people are prone to do these things. Some people have a foundation that reminds them that whatever wounds you go through are to build you up or prepare you for new challenges. Whatever your philosophy is. You know what I'm saying? Some people, and I'm not going to say the people that have grudges don't have it, but I say sometimes I think they forget that.
It's because it's pushed down. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying
they forget that.
So when you got, but I mean, it was so funny. Even those people with those foundations that you talking about,
yeah, they get tested.
It's still certain areas. It's still certain areas that they struggle in because and yet it's said they got tested. But I'm saying it's areas that they hold grudges on.
Oh yeah,
because I think we all hold grudges.
I mean,
it ain't a person lying, in my opinion, that don't do that. It's just that what you do with it. Hell, I still got some grudges now, but it's what I've chosen to do with them. You see what I'm saying? It's just like. With me, it's more like, okay, you know what, I got that grudge, and I know I need to probably soften that down a little bit, but I'm not letting that overrun. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten better at it to where I'm not all the way at my forgiveness state with it, but I'm not as far away from forgiveness of it. You see what I'm saying? See, so that's what I'm saying. You got to be balanced because there's going to be shit that's going to bother you. There's people going to do shit to you, man. Shit going to happen, and you're going to get hurt by things. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you got to find a way. You got to find a way to say, you know what, that is what it is. I'm gonna let that heal itself, and that's just how I feel. I got
a guilty confession, man. Here's some of my. I think I have a tendency that when there are people that I may feel have wronged me to the point to where it's worthy of holding a grudge, my defense mechanism or how I let go of it is, I'm gonna be all right. And I know they fucked up out here. I know that's probably vindictive. I know that's probably somewhat. Some people call it malicious or whatever.
No, just let it go.
But in my mind, I'm like, you know what? For you to have done that, your life is probably screwed up worse than what mine ever could be right now. So I'm gonna be at peace with that.
I mean, but
You know,
each situation is that.
You know, that might be.
I mean, yeah, no, because that's
You
why
know.
that's why I said what I said. I gotta be me, but I gotta be me to who deserves me. You see, certain people, I just had to cut them off. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
And it's not, and this, do I still got a little grudge at them? Only grudge I would say I had is to be like, well, damn, man, I thought I fucked with you. You feel what I'm saying? Now, my only grudge is say, damn, man, you know, like, you know, because a piece of me has been given to you. You see what I'm saying? Regardless of how you look at it. But I feel like I got to move on and learn from that shit. You see what I'm saying? And just give who deserves me.
Right.
And that's all. And then when I find out you don't deserve me, I'm up out of here. You see what I'm saying? You know, hopefully we can go quietly. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do too much, so I got to ooze inside your head. But it is what it is. In some situations, you got to collect. Right. You got to collect some taxes.
Right.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying sometimes
We are a people that thrive on justice and equity
and equality.
And I think that's probably another aspect of our nature that's a lot more profound than in others. You know, we are very much one who's looking at the scales and going, hey, that's about 3 grams off. You need to fix that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
all mine's there. Why all yours?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but like I said, but at the end of the day, regardless of how you want to slice the pie, no matter what your background is or your mental fortitude, whatever the hell you got going on, in my opinion, it boils down to you got to get that balance.
No doubt.
You got to get that balance, man. Because when you're teetering, it's easier to fall for the foolishness, man. It's easy because you like this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't steady or stern and nothing.
So
you know what I'm saying? You got to have a foundation of something. Because see, you're going to continuously get tested. You're going to people are going to continue to hurt you. And there's times, like you said a little while ago, it's going to be people that hurt you and they did not know that they hurt you, man. Or they don't know the severity of how they might even say they sorry, and you don't feel like this. You really don't understand how that made me feel. And you're right, because I don't, because I'm not in your head. You see what I'm saying? But see,
that's real.
But the thing is that also it goes both ways in a sense, because if I fuck with you, then I need to pay attention to that and try to like steer away from that. But then at the same time, if you fuck with me, you got to know when to say, hey, I'm gonna forgive you, but don't do that shit no more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's real.
It's a balance now. You got to know what people do.
It's definitely about communication, man.
Yeah,
because,
it is.
Because a lot of times, like you said, you know, sometimes, okay, well, because I fuck with you, you should already know. I mean, and that's where we mess up right there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When you forget that communication is a two-way tool.
Two-way tool.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I can't guess what you're thinking. I can't.
Right.
Even if you feel like I should know it.
Right.
Sometimes
even if you was on it on Monday,
right?
It's Wednesday now.
Hey, you don't know what happened to you.
Exactly. I don't know what happened to me on exactly.
You know what I mean? So you have to be able to come back to the center and say, okay, hey, look, this is where we at. You know what I'm saying? You know, the coach get a play to the QB every down.
Yeah, this is what we need to do.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to have that going on. You know, I give y'all. Hey, let's give a homework assignment. Let's give a homework assignment.
Man,
I'm giving a homework assignment. Yeah, y'all in school. I want y'all to go and find one person, or 2, or 3, depending on how long your list is, or somebody that there's a bridge or there's a rift between, and extend that olive branch. You know what I mean? Go back to them and attempt to repair that bond and try to restore what was once there, or try to forge something new. You know, might be the toughest thing you have to do, but I'm hoping y'all to the challenge, man. I'm gonna do so as well. You know what I mean?
That sounds real good, man. That's you know that's a great homework assignment,
You know?
man. And you know what? Post your results. when you see us.
Hey, we might start the forgiveness challenge.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? To forget it.
You know what I mean?
Find a couple of people and say, you know what? Even if you the one that gotta be say you sorry.
Yeah.
Even if you the one going for the forgiveness.
Maybe you're the one.
You know you did,
and
wrong.
you know if you did.
You know if you did, because you know when you did. So I like that. Like you said, go in, say I'm sorry, say
I was wrong.
Mend it. You know what I'm saying? Because see, you never know. Like we just said, how you know they're gonna be here tomorrow?
That's
How you know they're gonna be here in 2019? 2019, right around the corner.
And you know how it would go at the first of the year. It's like the lottery,
Jack.
man.
You feel what I'm saying? So I mean,
we look up and they didn't make it.
That's a good thing to look at. I mean, even if it's just something as simple as just picking up the phone and saying hello.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Do something to try to help mend the fence. I like that.
That's right.
But do something to try that is y'all homework. Y'all do something to help mend the fence this week. If you ain't got no broken fences, go and break one real fast and then and it's just so you can come back and get some credit.
Oh man!
But seriously though,
go steal your neighbor's newspaper.
Yeah, right.
Then bring you one back.
Like, man, it's an extra funny paper in there.
You know,
but seriously though, you know what I mean? That's a good thing because not enough of us do that.
That's real.
You know what I mean? Because see, along with coming with that grudge and that resentment, it builds up. I ain't got to do it. I ain't got to do it.
Right.
Why do I got to be the one? Why do I always got to be the bigger man? Why I always got to be the bigger woman? That's real talk, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what's crazy? And don't feel like you being soft or you being, oh, well, I got to do. No. It's like I said, what's easier to do? Love or hate? What's easier to do? You know what I'm saying?
Challenge yourself.
Hold a grudge or have some forgiveness. What's easier to do? Stop doing what's so easy and do what's hard because the results gonna come out and you're gonna appreciate yourself more. You're gonna appreciate that more. And you never know. I'm telling you, you never know what'll come out of it. You go out there and make, you know what, man? I don't care what it was. Because some people you got grudges with and you really missing their ass. And they missing your ass just as much as you missing them.
But your ego in the way.
But your ego is in the way.
Or
their ego in the way. That's real, man.
That's real talk.
We definitely looking forward to hearing from y'all. Y'all tell some of y'all
Yeah,
probably ain't gonna do this shit. Y'all gonna be.
But to those of y'all that are up to the challenge,
we appreciate it.
Make sure y'all tag us.
Definitely tag us, or when you come on, say something
hashtag
about
TBT Radio.
Hashtag I forgave they ass. That's all I wanted to say. TBT Radio hashtag forgave they ass. Day DEY.
Forgave they ass.
They ass. Shit. That's what he wanted to say. But for real, the all bullshit aside, man, that's something that needs.
What is that?
Hey, he said, I'll get my rear end, can I sue? Just asking for a friend. That's
Oh
stupid.
no!
Oh no!
might have to take that one. I mean, I can't see it happening.
I don't know.
But, I mean,
the Pop got that whoop ass way
that's what I
too.
said. I can't see it happening, but
You know what I'm saying? But you know, lightning strikes twice sometimes.
You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying. But seriously though, man, y'all know what we do here, man.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? We laugh, we try to have a good time, but we try to promote positivity, man. We try to approach conscious thinking, man. We try to approach. try to get that call because somebody was calling in during the live. You know what I mean? But that ain't happening. But I'm just saying, you know, we try to bring y'all, man. We want y'all to understand that it's gonna take all of us to get this done, man.
Word up, bro.
Appreciate it.
There we go.
Forgave that.
Forgave that.
It's DEY day. Put DEY problem, but day ass. But for real, like I was saying, all bullshit. Like I said, man, y'all know, you know what we do, man. This is what we do, man. We want it can't happen if we don't try. It can't happen without the conversation. It can't happen without people actually making conscious efforts to reach out. You know what I mean? It can't happen if people don't even know. You know what I'm saying? The whole purpose of the TBT and the movement and everything else is the asses is to put that positivity out there, y'all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like we say, man, we just fuck ups trying to get it right. That's well it, put. Bro.
Well put.
That's all it is, man. I don't want to be right. I just want to get it right.
You know
what I mean? That's really how we look at it, man.
So, we encourage y'all, man, build these bridges.
Of course.
Elevate ourselves, man, because no one's going to do it for us. We are, especially us, man, we in a position where I think this is what's being called of us, to learn to start to repair ourselves. We have to start being our own doctors. We have to start being our own lawyers. We have to start being our own accountants. We have to start being our own generals. You know, we have to start being our own. Some of us have to start being our own fathers, our own mothers, and the whole nine. I know,
Each other psychiatrists.
for real.
You know,
because life is putting us to a point to where we're having to start to look inward,
right?
instead of outward. You know, we've been taught and conditioned. I'd rather use that term. We've been conditioned to look to the external for things to heal the internal. You have to understand, in order to heal the self, you have to go within self. And
Say that again. Say that again.
In order to heal self, you have to go within self.
Come on now.
You know, so when you're talking about mending fences with, you know, friends, family, loved ones, the like, it takes something from in here. You know, it's a courageous thing to go knock on that door of that person that, you know, either you wronged or they wronged you. You know, you get the little lump in your chest, like, oh, how this gonna go?
Right.
I hope this ain't gonna be no more of that mess. You know,
Yep.
but the reward is greater.
It is.
You
But
know
you
what
said,
I mean?
but you know what, bro? You said something. You said you got to come from here.
For real.
It can't be here, y'all. You know what up here gonna always do? Say, fuck that, I ain't going. I ain't the one that's gonna do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this
Oh, yeah,
gonna always
yeah,
say.
yeah. It's
That's what
always
this
gonna give
say.
you a reason.
But this here, deep down, no matter how far you push it down in there, no matter that's one thing about that heart. That's one thing about that heart. No matter how much you push down in that motherfucker, that shit it's gonna bounce back out, baby. Now how it bounces back out, it's just yet to be seen.
It's up to you.
But it's gonna bounce. You can only push this shit down for so long, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man. I ain't telling you from something I don't know, man. This experience talk. You know what I'm saying? I like that experience talk.
So,
You
yo,
know what I'm saying?
we appreciate y'all checking us out today.
As always, man, we appreciate
You know, shout out to O State.
y'all. Fuck O State.
Hey, whoa.
Fuck O State. I'm
whoa,
a Michigan fan.
whoa.
That's what I'm gonna say every time.
You know what?
Go blue.
You know what?
And we're looking good this year.
I forgive you.
We just might beat you. No,
I
you
forgive you.
forgive me?
I forgive you.
Well, I'm holding the grudge. Hey, we didn't do that on purpose.
No,
y'all. We didn't do that on purpose.
Hey.
We didn't say we was gonna do that. That was just us.
That's live.
That's just straight
Yo.
line, baby. LIBE.
You know what I mean? Truth be told, radio.
Truth be told, radio. Like I always tell you, man, love each other, man. Truth be told, radio, keeping it a buck.
'Cause you know we don't give a fuck.
We up out of here, man.
Peace.
Take it easy, y'all. Remember the challenge.